So in one of my coaching sessions with one of my students, I have an agreement with them as one of the steps that we're taking is that every day he WhatsApps me the degree to which he was productive in that day. So the purpose of this is really to increase the accountability and the consistency of the steps that we're taking on his aligned strategy so he actually gets the result that he wants. Remember that if we're not taking action and the consistent action of the steps that we've got in your strategy, then how can we expect to achieve the goal or achieve the destination that we're working towards? But he questioned, he said to me, well, what does productivity actually mean? If he says that he was 30% productive in that day, what does that actually mean? And I thought this is a great opportunity to expand on that and to just unpack some of that so that you can better understand it and better make this work for you. So in this context, let's take a look at productivity in the business world. And first and foremost, when you measure your productivity, firstly, you're going to assess whether you feel that you are productive or not. The challenge with that is feelings can vary according to the time of the day or how you're feeling generally at that time, and is not a good predictor or a good measurement of productivity. So let's just take a step back and take a look further, which in this context, if we're measuring productivity, we're actually wanting to measure the results that we've created. So first and foremost, we're actually trying to take out feelings and get this around the end goal, which is we wanting results, because results drive growth. Results are what we're wanting in our business. Results tell us if what we're doing is actually going to produce or achieve the goal that we've set out to. If we're not getting the results that we're wanting, then we have to change that goal. So first and foremost, the productivity is going to be linked to the results, right? Now, the thing about results is we can get results whether they're planned or whether they're lucky. For example, sometimes we do a certain action and the results are totally unpredictable or were of a different nature than that which we had actually wanted. Sometimes, for example, lotto, you can play lotto, but the results aren't predictable. You can't predict with certainty that you're going to win the lotto. So there's a degree of luck. So in this case, we want to make sure that the results that we're getting coming from the actions we're taking are not resulting in something which we can attribute to luck. If we're attributing something, our results, to luck, it means that we have no control over that. We're not feeling empowered in actually determining and defining where we're going and the results that we're achieving. So first and foremost, we want to know that the results that we have are planned. If the results end up in something that is planned, we're going to need to know, are they measurable? For example, a marathon runner cannot say to a certain degree if they have completed a marathon if they have not crossed the finish line. So imagine that a person is running along a road and they're ending or they're coming towards the end of the so-called marathon, but they don't know where that line is, right? Because there's no line in the road that says this is where the marathon is finished. When you complete this or cross over this line, you have now completed a marathon. If that line is not clearly defined, in other words, it's not measurable, if they stop 1 meter before that line, they have not completed the marathon and they will not know and they will not be able to say that we have achieved the result. So first and foremost, we need to know that the results are measurable. Why? Because if we can't measure something, then we can't adjust or take action on the degree to which we're actually creating that result. In other words, if we don't know how to measure something, how are we going to determine if what we've done has improved it significantly or not, if it's creating a change or not? We want to know that the actions that we're taking are resulting in a difference. And we want to be able to measure the difference to therefore decide which choice of action is the more empowering, which is the more efficient, which is the more optimized. So we're really needing to be able to measure something. Now, if we want to measure something, that means that it requires an action to take, an action to change, right? Because if we're going to measure, it implies that whatever we're doing is going to create a result and determine an outcome. If we do something different, take different actions, then we want to be able to measure what that result is so that we can again determine which is the better strategy. So if we're taking a look then at productivity being a function of the results that we want, and those results are going to be planned steps that we're taking, then we want to know that we can measure those results and measure the steps that we're taking, which again implies that this is action that we're taking, and we want to therefore know that the action that we're taking is consistent and strategic. And what I mean by that is you can take action by running in a hamster wheel, and you're in theory going somewhere, but due to the nature of that wheel, you're just staying in the same spot. It's not a strategic action to take. So we want to make sure that the action you're taking is strategic and aligned with you achieving your goal, right? And therefore that it's consistent. And that's part of how in this coaching process with this client, we had this everyday check-in scenario, which required him to be consistent in it. Now, this opens up an interesting question, which is going to be around focus, right? Because focus is linked to taking action and consistent action or producing great results. In other words, increasing your productivity. Because focus is aligning, like laser focusing, the actions that you're taking or the concentration that you're putting into the action that you're taking, such that it is the most efficient and the optimal way for you to achieve the productivity that you're striving for. Now, that focus, if it is outside of your natural flow or outside of what you is like in your zone of efficiency, your zone of productivity, it's going to feel like hard work, and you're going to require a lot of self-discipline to actually then stay focused to achieve that goal. So again, coming back to understanding more about your profile, we want to ensure that the action steps that you take fall as close to your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, your zone of productivity, so that you do not have to use self-discipline to stay focused. In fact, when you're in that zone, you're not even aware that you're focused because you're so engrossed and so in the zone, right? And that's what we really want to make sure. At times, though, we know that you're going to have to do action steps, take action steps, and implement strategy that might not be in your zone. And that will require you to have self-discipline to stay focused. Of course, knowing more about yourself and knowing more of your profile, you can also determine the length of focus that is required from your self-discipline. In other words, you could do 10 minutes on a certain topic, then take a break, 10 minutes somewhere else, 10 minutes on another thing. So by actually leveraging off your intense focus for short periods of time as compared to other profiles, which will be able to have longer focus points, maybe up to an hour. Again, knowing what is your style, what is best for you is going to be absolutely critical to this. So understanding that relationship between focus and productivity in the context of what we're talking about is really key to achieving that result that you're wanting in the optimal time, in the most efficient way, and of course aligning this all with your strategy. And of course, I'm also sharing this as a personal perspective on my understanding of productivity and focus. I'm by no means saying this is the absolute truth. It's open to interpretation, but this is what works for me to unlock my productivity and ensure I'm going where I want to go to create the life that I love to live.